Allora ragazzi, today we're going to talk about Campania. Campania is the region that is just south of Lazio on the Italian peninsula. The capital of Campania is Naples. You might also know Campania because of Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii, Herculaneum, or even the mob. But we're not going to talk about the mob today because they don't exist. So before the Greeks arrived in the 8th century BC, the Etruscans were growing grapes in the northern part of Campania. When the Greeks took over Campania, they brought with them a lot of viticultural knowledge. Then, when the Romans took over in the 2nd century BC, this became one of the wealthiest regions in all of the Mediterranean. I'm talking resort homes. And remember, after the Roman Empire fell, barbarians invaded and there was political and administrative mayhem everywhere. Barbarians did not like wine, and viticulture and wine culture generally really decreased throughout Italy during the barbarian invasions. And Campania didn't even really fully recover until the middle of the last century. Let's talk about the terrain of Campania. It is a mostly hilly region, and the soils here kind of like a Dagwood sandwich. Pyroclastic materials, also known as volcanic soils, limestone, sandstone, and calcareous clay. And what that means is that you get to grow a variety of different grapes throughout the region. The main red grape in Campania is AGLIANICO. The two appellations to look for AGLIANICO from include Taurasi and AGLIANICO del Taburno. AGLIANICO as a grape generally has formidable structure. I'm talking high tannin, high acid. It is a deep, intense, dark red. It has notes of wild berries, saddle leather, cinnamon, fresh tobacco. It is a complex red wine with a strong aging potential. The differences between Taurasi and Taburno are really fine-tuned. It would be really difficult to tell the two in a blind taste test. But if you had the mob hold a gun to my head, I would have to say that Taurasi is much more vertical and the Taburno a bit more underbrushy with higher acidity. The three white grapes you're going to look for in Campania are FIANO, FALANGHINA, and GRECO. FIANO is going to be the lightest of the three. Floral with notes of linden and acacia, green apple notes, green pear, and FIANO ages really, really well, becoming more smoky as it ages and more creamy on the palate. FALANGHINA, I want you to think the color yellow, yellow peach, yellow apple, yellow blossom, mint, and sage. FALANGHINA has a wonderful crisp acidity that makes it a perfect pair for prawns, clams, and scallops. GRECO is going to be your biggest mamma jamma white from Campania. When you think of GRECO, I want you to think golden. It is gold in the glass, rich structure, weighted, high alcohol, but really marked acidity. And it's that higher acidity in GRECO that cleans up all that richness on your palate. It has notes of peach blossom and honey. And the appellations that you're going to look for include FIANO di Avellino, FALANGHINA del Sannio, and GRECO di Tufo. Got more questions about Campania? DM me.